Hey everyone, how's it going? I've got the presser. For those that don't know me, I'm Will Glass, and for those looking for sponsorship, if you'd like to sponsor these videos moving forward, the cost is $1. Your message, company logo can be featured here, and a whole dozen people will see it. So, great opportunity. Just want to throw that out there. Um, First off, match ended at 2-2. It was against the top team in the league. They won last year, and unfortunately, the last year's match ended it was the dark match, meaning there was no lights, and that's when they scored. All of a sudden, was when the lights were off. So this was going to be a tough one, and we knew that going into it. I'll say that our guys showed up ready to play. We came out with an intensity that I hadn't seen yet in the first few matches. So like to see that. That was great. You know, the first two matches we were a little lackluster, I'd say, and that wasn't the case this time. So, you know, we were looking for a win. You know, 2-2. It's our first point, so still got something out of the match, but not quite what we wanted. And that being said, it was an absolute battle, and a huge shout out to Wilson and goal. Did a fantastic job back there, cleaning things out. Not sure what happened on that first one, called a penalty. I mean, it makes no sense. I don't know how you got the ball and he ran into you, and somehow that's a foul on the goalkeeper. I don't know. That linesman was a little suspect in general. So I know he's one of your buddies, Mason, but you got to talk to him because he didn't realize you were on the field until the second half, I guess. So that was a little tough. Unlucky. He just buried the penalty. Not much that we could do there. And then the response from the team was fantastic. You know, we were getting after it. James was just, I don't know what you were on, James, but James in the middle of the park was just phenomenal. All the guys in there, James, Tisdale, Charlie, Mason, guys were just rocking it in the center of the park, which was awesome to see. And James made his presence known off that first goal. Free kick in. We were a free kick based team this match. We were scored off of set pieces. James just whipped the ball, great ball into the right onto the 6-yard box, and Diallo put it away. So great follow up, and just overall just a great team goal. And then that second one, Usman just floated that thing into that back corner, and that was that. Keeper didn't know what to do. Was it a shot? Was it a cross? But it was too quality for him to do anything with it. So fantastic job there. We did great on that front. We were playing well. Back line did a great job. Shout out to all the guys back there. You know, Joey, Corey, Jay, Hanny, Evan, holding it down back there, and just did a fantastic job. Great communication too with the midfield. I felt like what we did well this time was, one, we were compressing the space, which we didn't do, at least in the first match. Obviously, I didn't see what happened in the second match, but there was a ton of space that our midfielders had to cover. And as a back line, we did a great job of stepping up and keeping that space small. And while that meant that there was more space behind us, they couldn't quite figure out how to time their runs, and we communicated well enough to pick up runners as they were coming in from the midfield. But they didn't have enough time to pick their head up and try to find those balls because we condensed that space. So I think that really helped. So great communication just overall, again, between our midfield and our back line. So that was much improved from definitely from the first match. We were shifting well across the back and getting forward. Big shout out also to our wingers, Mason, Zach, all those guys that played up top, Diallo. All you guys were doing a great job creating some opportunities. We had some just fantastic play through the middle of the park, which was great to see. And then in the second half, we were really swinging it wide. Usman was doing a great job on that left side, which was great to see, and felt like we actually had an identity at times, which I would say that in the first match, again, wasn't there for the second match, we kind of just played down to their level, and we lacked a little bit of an identity. And in this match, we really went at them and said, hey, this is how we want to play. And it made it tough for them. So overall, just, fantastic job. And, just unlucky there at the end that we just couldn't quite pull it out for the W, but we still walked away with a point, which is great, and puts us in a good spot moving forward. So some questions from the press. What happened on that first penalty? Well, look, I think we talked about it. I don't think it was a penalty. And then at that point, I'll admit I was chirping, but I chirped him the wrong way. I think I actually helped him keep the ball down. So Anyway, so got to work on the smack talk pre penalty to get into their heads. That's something that we got to work on as a team. I'll say that I didn't do a great job on that front. Was the linesman blind? Look, that linesman was a little suspect. Like I said, apparently he was Mason's buddy, and once he realized Mason was on his side of the field, he stopped calling a bunch of offsides. Well, he didn't call any offsides on them on the other way, but when we were attacking at the second half, again, he kind of let some things go, and he did call that penalty at the end, though it was a little weird about whether he was going to or try to push it outside of the box, but ultimately he came around, but it was a little weird there for part of it. What did you like seeing from the boys? I think overall the grit. There was we had an identity. There was a will to win. We wanted to go out and impose ourselves in the game, and I think we did that for the most part. So that was much improved, and again, unfortunate in terms of the result, but overall, great performance, night and day from match 1 to match 3. What was James on? Look, James was just all over. He was offense, defense. He was really just all over the place there in the middle of the park. I think that's his first appearance, if I'm not mistaken, too. First cap for the over 30 Outlaws. So, and if that's the case, what a fantastic showing, beautiful assist, and just great play in the middle of the park. So shout out to James. Why didn't we see Matty B? Look, I would have loved to have seen Matt come in there and just run train up top on some folks, but I don't know. I think he felt like he wanted to kind of coach more than get in. So hopefully we'll see him a lot during Min City based on the number of people coming. I think we will. So yeah, hopefully we'll see some more, because I would have liked to have seen him just run over somebody and just impose his will. So what happened on that corner? Look, I think every now and then there's just going to be goals that the other team has that you just can't do anything about, and their second goal was that. It was just a worldy header from the far front part of the box all the way to the back. There just wasn't any much we could do. So, unlucky there, and obviously would have been good to have some pressure on him and put some pressure on the header, but still, even with no pressure, I think you hit that 100 times and he misses it. So I think that's 1 out of 100. So just unlucky. These things happen. What happened with Joey, and 22? Well, look, I think they were 22. Their fast guy up top was getting pissed off, and I don't know what was going on between Jay and Joey. They had his number. He was not happy with the fact that anybody got close to him or touched him. So whatever they were doing, they were getting in his head. He wasn't able to finish. He had a couple good opportunities, and he just couldn't quite do it. And he couldn't quite get his runs either. So shout out to those guys for being physical and shutting him down and playing great. So yeah, I think Min City, this is one that usually they have 9 guys, but we're playing them, so I'm sure they'll have 22 and plenty of subs. This will be the one time their whole roster shows up. So let's go out there, have some fun, and let's put it to them. Get some goals and show them who's boss. So overall, I think a lot that's improved that we can really take away moving into the next match. Let's take a quick look at the stats. Since we haven't gone over those, this is what the scoring stats look like to date. It's wide open. So, a couple good games and good matches, and this thing can flip on its head. So we'd like to see a lot more goals moving forward for the rest of the season, and see what all we can do. All right. That's all I got time for. Thanks, boys. All right, just kidding. I'm back for one more quick comment from the press. What happened to Zach on that penalty at the end? Look, let's give a shout out to Zach. That was an absolute beautiful run through. Keeper just took his legs out. I can't remember who played that ball, but whoever it was, just absolutely beautiful ball, running on exactly what you want. And Zach was going through some personal stuff, and I think unfortunately got into his head. Law of statistics, he'd never missed a penalty ever, I think, in a game, and unfortunately just had some stuff going on. So, I think talking to Zach afterwards, it sounded like he made a last-minute decision as to where he was going to go based on what the keeper was doing, and then realized that wasn't what he wanted to do and changed his mind, and unfortunately it just resulted in he didn't hit it quite as hard and where he wanted to. So the keeper was able to save it, and so unfortunate there. Obviously, would have been awesome to come away with the W. But I think Zach is going to reflect on this and think about how he approaches penalties moving forward, and I think he's going to grow and be a better player for it. So, yeah, big shout out there, and definitely want to call that out and make sure that that question was addressed as asked. So, yeah, I expect to see him step up and take some penalties moving forward for the rest of the season. So, and I expect him to bury them, or else I think Matt might murder him. So, yeah, that's all I got.